Sums are annoying to compute. If you have 1,000,000 terms, that's 1,000,000 evaluations, and then another 1,000,000 additions. It takes forever. But integration, on the other hand, it goes by much quicker. So what if we could approximate sums with integrals? We first need to look at what each of these represent. When we have a function f, the sum takes a bunch of sample points along it to create rectangles of width 1. On the other hand, the integral tells us the area under f of x exactly. As you can see, while they are close, the integral accounts for all this area that the sum doesn't, meaning that when we evaluate them, we get this error. So what if we could figure out that error? Let's say we are trying to sum from a to b of a function f of x. To find the error, compared to a similar integral, we can look at a subsection of the whole sum that we are trying to find. By just looking at one step from I to I plus 1, we see this is what our integral looks like. We want to express this integral in such a way that it reveals information about the discrete step f of I. So how do we get f of I out of the integral? Well, we can use integration by parts. We can see u equals f of x and dv equals dx. Then, from there, we get du is f prime of x dx, and v is the integral of 1, which is x plus some constant c. And we get this as the result after integrating by parts. We can now just sub in I and I plus 1 into our non-integral part, and it results in this. Now we can bring all the terms to the left and then subtract f of I from both sides, giving us negative f of I, before then multiplying both sides by negative 1. Right now this seems circular, especially since we have f of I on both sides, but it'll all make sense in a moment. If we were summing this, there would be multiple copies of this with different values of I, and you might notice that they end up stacking up and we'd have to compute the sum anyways. But what if we could make all the middle terms disappear? Imagine a sum like this. Each step just subtracts a term from the previous term. So in the end, we are only left with the first and last term, simplifying the entire sum. This is called a telescoping sum. But how could we achieve this here? Well, we never chose a value for c. None of the antiderivatives change the integral, but they do let us manipulate the algebra. So we can choose a specific value of c that makes the algebra easier. If we look back at the expression for f of I, if we wanted the sum to be telescopic, we'd need the coefficients of f of I and f of I plus 1 to be balanced, so they cancel perfectly with future terms. To do that, we subtract f of I from both sides. Now, if we want the coefficients to be equal, we just solve for c. Solving for c is relatively easy, and we get negative I minus a half. When we sub in c, we get that both coefficients are 1/2, just with a different sign, exactly what we want. Now let's see what happens when we add terms of the sum. If we do f of I plus f of I plus 1, we get these two expressions for the two of them. First of all, we can notice the telescoping, and cancel f of I plus 1 with itself. Then we can see we have the exact same integral, just with different bounds, so we merge them together. Then, lastly, we have the error integrals. We can leave them there, or we can replace I with floor of x, which does the same as for an x inside this interval from I to I plus 1. And we can merge them into one grand error integral. Once we add every step from I equals a to I equals b, all the interior terms telescope away. The only boundary terms left are at a and b plus 1, and all the integrals combine into one integral from a to b plus 1. Now, when we test this without the error integral, it acts as an okay approximation. But the best part of this method is we can repeat it to get a better approximation. To get the better approximation, we have to look at f of I again. Now we can simply integrate the error integral by parts. Doing this gives us another correct term with an even smaller error integral. Looking at the error integral, we can see u equals f prime of x, and dv equals x minus I minus a half dx. We plug those into the integration by parts formula, and we get this result. Once we simplify the expression, we can see that any value for c will work and create a telescoping sum. So how do we figure out the value for c? Well, in the case where we were to continue to do integration by parts, it would be nice if we had this freedom to choose any c for the next step. In that case, we would also like the following coefficients to be equal. Since the next coefficients come from the integration of our new error integral, we can integrate our polynomial term from I to I plus 1 and see for which values of c they become equal, corresponding to equal coefficients for the next part. So we integrate and solve, giving us this value for c. Subbing this in, we see the coefficients both simplify into 1/12. Now, when we reintroduce this to the rest of the formula, we can see this approximation works even better. Each time we extend the approximation, it becomes more accurate. As we extend it, we get these coefficients, which are actually the Bernoulli numbers divided by factorials. This is because when we extend it in general, our polynomial becomes something known as a Bernoulli polynomial for I equals 0, which is then divided by factorials. In general, this results in the nth Bernoulli number over n factorial, which is then multiplied by the n-1th derivative at b plus 1 minus it evaluated at a. This gives us this formula, which you can use up to whatever accuracy you want, and then exclude the computationally heavy error terms. Just look at how quickly our approximation approaches the result. So now you know how to approximate large sums using integrals with the Euler-Maclaurin formula, which we've just derived. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you learned something new, and if you'd like, you can join the Discord. Have a nice day.